Hi, welcome to my happy place. We are down to our last two spin effects. Today we're going to be working on spin effects 15. The collection, as with every other collection, comes with a 3.5, 5.5, 9.5, 7.5, and 11.5 inch template. Here is the instruction sheet for them. This is what an 8-point stitch out looks like. Here's a picture of all of the templates, and of course your shank size. Mine is low. And it says that this Spin Effects 15 is just like the rest, available in 7 sizes. We have 5 sizes that comes in the collection and 2 sizes, being 1.5 and 2.5, that are mini. And those come in the mini Spin Effects collection. Today what we're going to do is we're going to use the template just as it's shown here in the instructions. And we're going to do 8 rotations and 16 rotations. Now if we take a look at the back of the instruction sheet, you'll notice some different manners in which you can use these spin effects, and we'll explore those later on. And we have a short bio about Leonie West, designer and inventor of Westalee Templates and Rulers. They are now partnered with So Steady in the US, in Oregon, and all templates and rulers are made by So Steady, so we can get them right here in the US quite easily. So what I have done here is the same thing I have done for each of the others. I have got a 16-point crosshair. We are going to go from the center. Whoops, let me pull that back here. We are going to go from the center up and around and then back to the center. Of course, we do have the pin in here. We can use that, and we'll do more videos that show some of the more intricate and different designs that we can do with these templates. I want you to understand that once you start using these templates, you're going to find a plethora of designs just with one set. I mean, they are so versatile. There is so much that can be done with them. Really, the only limit of these is your imagination, and I suggest getting some stitching line discs, trying it out, do different ideas, different thing on paper first, because it's so much easier. Right now, this is a new product. It's called the Ruler Work Accessory Set, and it comes with a Notions necklace. It comes with a beautiful blue, I just love this blue, I think it's so pretty, gauge, spacing gauge. It comes with stitching line discs, and it also comes with echo guides. So this is a great way to get all of your necessary items in one neat package. And you can order that through SoSteady.com. If you have trouble with it, you can always leave me a message and I will get a hold of you and assist you with that anytime, no problem. So I am going to go ahead and put the 7.5 inch Spin Effects 15 onto my fabric. I'm going to go ahead and draw my bobbin fabric up to the top. What I want you to see is I did go ahead and make a little test over here just to make sure that my tension was set correctly and that I could move my fabric sandwich easily. What we want is we want to be able to move this without anything impeding on it, which means if that foot is too low, it's going to be hard to push. If it's too high, what's going to happen is you're going to end up with skip stitches. I like to call it kissing the top of the fabric. I want the foot to just graze the top of the fabric. So we're going to go ahead and line up this template on line number 1, reference line number 1, by lining up the center line here and the center line here. And so this will be on what I would consider my vertical crosshair. And I am going to pull the block in this orientation because it will be much easier for you to see. There are a couple of things that we have to take into consideration on this template. First, I like to do that first stitch in place. When you're coming around right here, what you want to do is stay nice and slow and hug that template. Now what you don't want to do is you don't want to push the template against the foot or the foot against the template. That can bind everything up and cause some the foot to fall off the template. I call it crashing off the cliff. When you get to the top, you're going to want to take one additional stitch and then move on. I don't subscribe to taking a whole bunch of stitches because you do end up with a thread ball on the back. So just one stitch will do. If you have to, stop with your needle down and then go ahead and continue. And here again, you're going to want to stay nice and smooth. You're going to want to move gingerly around that template so it doesn't come crashing off the cliff. And you'll see just how beautiful that template stitch is. I'm now going to go to the rotation line that's directly across from the one that I just started. I'm going to get my scissors ready here because I'm going to go ahead and trim that thread. And why can I do that? Well, the reason that I can do that is because we are going to be stitching over that center point many times, and that will definitely tie in those threads so they will not ravel out, okay? Be very careful not to move your template here. Have I done it? Oh, yeah. Do I like it when I do it? Not one little bit. So I like to just try and be as careful as possible. Now with these beautiful curves that we've got here, I do tend to make my stitch length just a little smaller. I think that it gives the illusion of smoothness around a curve much nicer. And you don't need to worry about holding your pedal to the metal, so to speak. Just go ahead, take your time. Stitch a speed that you find comfortable. I tend to find a slower speed comfortable, and I tend to feel as though I've got more control when I am stitching at a slower speed. This is very relaxing. It's a journey. It's fun. And we're going to start seeing some secondary designs developing here. I love the secondary designs. There's so many things that can be done with these. There's my extra stitch up on the top, and that's going to keep that point beautifully sharp and pointy. And here when I come down, I'm just going to meet my previous line of stitching. You can see that there. And come back to center. And we're going to make one more rotation. Then we're going to have 4 rotations done with our Spinifex 15. I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. And then we're going to move on to 8 rotations and end up with 16. Some people have asked me over the years, do you prefer to buy the templates just in the size that you're going to use, or do you prefer to buy the sets? Well, that's kind of a personal decision for most of us, and I'm okay with that. And I will tell you how I do it and why I do it the way I do and how I feel about it. When I need a template, if it comes like the Spinifex in a set of 5, I will buy the set. The reason I will buy the set is in the long run it is cheaper than buying individual templates. But the real big reason is because having the template in more than one size affords you a lot more design choices. So here is our rotation done 4 times. It looks like a beautiful little simple flower. I think all of these look like flowers of one kind or another. But what we're going to do now is we're going to come back and we're going to put 4 more rotations. And where we're going to put those is on our 45-degree lines. Okay, so I do like to take that 1 stitch in place when I start. And the reason being is that I tend to fall off and create toe catchers. And if you don't know what a toe catcher is, it's 1 single long stitch. And if it's long enough, you can get your toe caught in it. Don't ask me how I know. Okay, remember that 1 stitch up here, but you don't want to languish there because you definitely don't want a big ball of thread there. Okay. I would like for you to stitch at a speed and a manner that works best for you. Now, just because I do things one way doesn't mean everybody needs to do things one way. My way. My way works for me. It may not work for you. And if it doesn't, that's perfectly all right. I'm fine. You're not going to insult me in the least. I want you to be comfortable. I want you to be relaxed. I want you to just enjoy the process. Or as I tell my students a lot, enjoy the journey. Actually, they kind of probably get sick of hearing me say enjoy the journey. But the thing is what we're doing here it's a hobby. It is something that gives us a creative outlet. It allows us to use our imaginations. And sometimes, for me, it allows me to decompress from the stresses of everyday life. And that is always welcome in my book. Because we all have a whole lot of everyday stressors in our lives. So what this should do is help us to relax from them. Okay, so I've got 1 more and then I'll have my 8 rotations in. And you can see these templates do go very quickly. And don't you love this secondary design that's developing here? I'm going to go ahead and get this last of the 8 rotations in, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the template off and show you what it's like. And then I'm going to go ahead and stitch the other 8 in, and we're going to get the full effect of our Spin Effects 15. If you remember when we started this little journey of the 16 templates, the first ones that we did were very easy. They didn't have a lot of sharp corners and stuff, but as we move along, we're getting more intricate and getting, where we have to maybe be just a little more careful of falling off of those sharp corners. Here is the 8 point. I think that's gorgeous in and of itself. So doing the 16, we're going to, again, double the amount of inside design that comes out of here. So when I do my 16, I'm going to say I start here. I'm still going to come across to the opposite line. The reason that we do that is because we like our fabric to be drawn in evenly. When we stitch our designs in, every stitch we stitch draws our fabric in just a little bit. And if we just went in a circle, going from one side and meeting up with itself on the other, or back at the beginning, I should say, what's going to happen is we're going to probably end up with a waviness around the outside that's uneven. And we don't want that to happen. So here is my first one. Now I'm going to go opposite, and I'm going to put in my second one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, put you on hold so you don't have to watch me stitch out 8 more rotations, which is probably about as much fun as watching paint dry. Then we'll come back and take a look at how everything looks once all 16 rotations are stitched out. So I will put you on hold and I'll meet you back here in a minute. Okay, we are back, and right now I am just stitching in the 16th rotation. So this will be our last one, although I will double check just to make sure I didn't miss anything, because that can happen too. And I don't know if you are liking the intricate designs that this is making, but I am loving it. Okay, there we go. Okay, got them all stitched. I'm going to go ahead and take the template off. There we go. Set that aside. I'm going to just clip my threads because I'm going to bury those later. There we go. And there it is. Isn't that gorgeous? There's so many things. We could take our 4-inch arc and we can connect it around here. We could put a little 1/4-inch circle on there. We can build out from this, and we can just let this go as far as our imagination will take it. So, Spinifex 15 definitely should be in your toolbox. And we'll be back with Spinifex 16, which will be our last one. And then we're going to start showing you how we can take these designs and work with them to enhance them. And we're going to put these together into a quilt, actually. And here's just some of them that I've already done. And these are just to Spinifex. That's all they are. And I've used Inktense pencils with them. And we'll go ahead and post some how-to videos on that. So until we meet again, this one's my favorite because I love green. Let's quilt.